And are you refreshed? Good. Now what?
So exciting. Thank you so much. I love and appreciate so much, so many things, but sorry, I get annoyed real quick.
I love and appreciate so many things, but my guidance system works when I focus on things that are not valuable to me or not of value to me. Next.
Yeah, but a lot of that is people. And I know we need people. I need people. I guess I want to know, how do I get out of that, over that?
Well, you're really going to like this eventually. So it's a big world out there full of all kinds of variety, things wanted and unwanted, and that you have the ability to tune yourself to a frequency that causes you to attract or allow. In other words, attraction is about a desire and an allowing of that desire. And so whether we're talking about the world at large, or really the universe at large, or whether we're talking about one person at large, each person is a microcosm of the whole thing. Within every particle of the universe there is wanted and unwanted, which means within every human there are those things that you want to attract and those things that you don't want to attract. So our question to you is, what have you got going on vibrationally that causes you to attract things in other people that you don't want?
That's what I don't know.
Well, it doesn't matter specifically what it is, but it is helpful for you to acknowledge that this is me doing this to me, not you asserting that to me.
I do know that.
Well, then why are we having this conversation?
Well,
because if you really did know that, your conversation would have gone like this: Abraham, I have not yet figured out how to tune myself precisely, and therefore in my sloppy offering of vibration, I am in a sloppy way attracting things that I don't want from others. What should I do? And we say, tune it up. Because the other option that humans want to be the answer is teach them to be different. Teach them to offer only things I want. That's the only thing that's not good for you about a cruise like this.
I know. Well, sometimes
it will spoil you.
I would just avoid everyone, but that doesn't work.
The thing about that is, because in every particle of the universe is wanted and unwanted, if you avoid it. But here's the thing, we want you to avoid it too. We want you to avoid it by tuning to what you do want. There's no exclusion. When you say no to something, when you try to avoid that, you're actually activating it more. When you go to another place, you take your vibrating you with you, and then it shows up over there, and then you go to another place. So you're always on the run. Always on the run. I'm avoiding you. Where are you going? 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 To bed. I'm so tired from avoiding.
Can you give me just a tip that said, just say, here comes someone, and what should I?
Here's the thing. Tuning before is what we call pre-paving. So meditation will help you, because meditation will put you in sync with your inner being. And when you're really in sync with your inner being, you won't feel that way about anybody. Your inner being finds the best, only sees the best, only vibrates with the best of everyone. We're not playing with you in this way to make you feel bad, because everyone does it. But it's such an important thing to know that the freedom from the negativity that you seek is all within your own ability to focus. And doing it before you walk into the room is much better than getting in there and then trying to do it. Because if you wait till you get in there and the momentum's already underway, then it really is an exercise of action and then an exercise of avoidance. And then you don't accomplish it, and you just repeat the cycle again and again and again. Think about most people, everyone wants to feel good, and it does feel good when you are in agreement with your inner being, and therefore you translate that to believe erroneously that it feels good to be in agreement with others. And so most humans spend their whole life trying to get agreement from others, and it's so exhausting Don't you find yourself in conversation wanting people to agree with you? And when they do, you feel so satisfied. And don't you waste so many hours of conversation trying to get them to understand you, to get you, to agree with you? And it's ever so much more pleasant to just come into sync with who you are. Then it's not urgent, you see, because what you're wanting to do is fill that void, and the void can only be filled with the alignment that your inner being offers. And once you've got that alignment, then you can offer it to others, but don't look to get it from them.
Okay. I'm going to have to, I don't want to say work on it, but work on it.
Well, it's nice that you know that it matters to you, and pre-paving really is the key. Segment intending means realize you're walking into a new segment and set your intentions softly and be gentle about it and acknowledge things like you're getting better and better at it. Don't you find yourself, because you are a keen observer and you're also very insightful, you have empathy in that you read vibrations, you're sort of like an open, ready to receive being who wants to be a little more discriminating about what you want to receive. It would be like being a tuner on a radio that isn't finely set, so when you turn it on you just get static, and it doesn't really matter how you turn the knob, you just get mostly a combination of everything. You're not tuning finely enough to really hear something come through clear. And so isn't it nice that you know when you're not doing that, and won't it feel satisfying when you do that? So the same thing that makes you a keen appreciator, and you are, is also the other end of that stick. When you are a keen appreciator, Esther's been saying to herself and to others, anybody who's around really, I'm becoming, or I have become, a vibrational snob, which means I like feeling good, which means I got to tune myself, because controlling others isn't possible. Sometimes Esther teases that it's something that she maybe should put on that form you sign when you're coming to one of these gatherings. I understand that I can't go back, and that once I accomplish vibrational alignment with who I really am, I won't be happy if I'm not in alignment with who I really am. I will be more sensitive, and that's what's happened to you. You're more sensitive to that vibration that isn't finely tuned. So you begin acknowledging, I want to be more sharply tuned with my inner being. And the other thing that we want you to remember is that every subject is really two subjects, and so that appreciation that you are on the other end of that is finding fault. And the sharper you refine your ability to appreciate, the sharper you're refining your ability to see the other end of it. So it becomes more and more important for you to pay attention to which end you are focused upon. Yes? Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
And doesn't it let you off the hook a little bit?
It sure does. Yeah. And I appreciate everybody here.
Well, they're nice.
It wasn't these guys. And you.
This crowd is easy.
This is great.
This crowd is easy. They will spoil you. They will make you ill-prepared to go out into the real world.
I'm ready. Thank you.
Hi. So I want to talk about turning thoughts to things. I had this pretty woo-woo experience where we created a desire, and then we energized it by blessing it, sending love to it. And then we sent it off. And then our teacher told us to put out our left hand and think of that desire. And I felt like a bowling ball hit my hand. And it kind of freaked me out just a little.
So start at the beginning of this.
Okay.
At this efforting.
So, yeah, that's actually what I wanted to ask. I felt like, so we were thinking of a desire.
So I've decided that I'm going to be a deliberate creator. And I am going to define a desire, a really good one. It'll take me a minute, and then I'm going to flow energy toward it.
It actually was kind of fun. I felt like a wizard in a way.
We are being playful about it, but there is a little too much work involved here.
Yeah.
Because remember, and we will let you talk, but remember, the way it all works is step one is born effortlessly out of contrast. You know what you don't want, you know what you do want. And Once you launch that rocket, your inner being tends it, law of attraction grows it, momentum gathers it, the cooperative components are gathered, and so there's not a lot of effort in that. So what you might have meant to say is, I've decided to select from among what I know is in my vortex, what's already gathered. I'm going to identify some desire that I hold for the purpose of making sure that I'm tuned to it, because I want to witness what the deliberate tuning of something that's already been done in step one. I'm going to do the receiving mode thing about something that I already know is in the vortex, and I'm going to witness its evolution. Those are the words we would use.
I like those words.
Yes.
Those feel real good. And so turning thoughts to things as you described it sounds...
Or let's say it better. Witnessing thoughts turning to things.
There you go.
Because turning thoughts to things sounds like I'm the motor in the car. I'm going to witness thoughts turning to things. Thoughts turn to things. And if I'm focused upon the thoughts as they turn to things, then I get to enjoy the turning process. Feeling the difference in these?
Yeah, that's the satisfaction of getting ready to be ready.
The bowling ball is getting lighter.
Yeah. And so, well, what was interesting is that the bowling ball, it felt like it took on, I guess it's just so I think about vibration, I think about fast moving energy. And so when
You think about what?
When I think of vibration, I think about energy moving at different frequencies. And so when I'm thinking of a desire and it feels good, there's this feeling that it's fast moving energy. And so when I felt the bowling ball, that kind of surprised me, the weight of it. Was it just my imagination, or that's what I want to know, because there was this explanation that when we're turning thoughts to thought forms, is actually what he described it as, is that where it's like taking steam and turning it into ice. So that, I was very curious about that.
What this sounds like to us is human beings who've decided to take on the role of non-physical and then complain about their inability to do something that they're not supposed to be doing.
That's perfect. Yeah, I got you. That helped clear that up. Thank you so much.
Now, that doesn't mean it's not a good idea to focus. Of course, you want to focus and you want to find the lightness and the good feeling in the thoughts that you're thinking. Of course, you are the catalyst that is allowing yourself to be receiving. But it's time to really emphasize that thoughts are going to turn to things with or without you, because it's the way life works. And that what this work is about accomplishing a vibrational frequency that, since law of attraction is the order of the day, that as I accomplish a frequency, I allow the kinds of things to be witnessed and experienced by me that I prefer. Because you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. Thoughts are turning to things all around you all the time. But this exercise sort of implies that if you're not really focused, then you're not turning thoughts to things. And that isn't true at all. Thoughts are turning to things and you're witnessing them. The question is, what are you witnessing? And the answer is, depends on how you feel while you got your focus on it. Yes. Helpful?
That's so helpful. Thank you. And then I want to ask you about, you had mentioned before about source or inner being, it sometimes inspires contrast. And is that...
Yes, because sometimes your inner being knows that the most satisfying way to get you to where you really want to be is by causing this question to be stronger, and this question to be stronger, and this question to be stronger, and this question to be stronger. Sometimes you have really big intentions that different experiences cause the question to be stronger, and therefore the answer to be even more satisfying.
And is that in every case that the contrast is inspired, or?
No, because you're not always in the receiving mode. Sometimes your contrast is inspired through your disconnection.
Perfect.
But the point of that is to not get balled up in the contrast, because overall contrast is a really good thing. Without it, there would be no expansion. And without it, there could be no eternity. And so just across the board, accept contrast as a good thing.
The benefits.
As a clarifying thing.
Yeah, that's really good. Last thing that I want to end with is when we discussed the whales in Alaska, I had mentioned to you that getting better and better. And so on our last day, we were in Victoria or Vancouver, and I was unsure whether I wanted to go whale watching again because I had such a phenomenal, magical, felt like amazing experience when we were in Alaska. And at the last minute, I decided to go. And it just kept getting better and better, just like my receptive mode was just so in alignment. And the best part about that experience was...
We have a question for you before you go further, and that is, does it feel logical to you that things would automatically get better and better?
Yeah.
So as thoughts are turning to things, it gets better and better and better and better and better. And so I don't have to focus things into getting better and better and better and better and better. They're already programmed that way.
Yeah.
I just have to be receptive to the good stuff that's flowing. Yes?
Absolutely. And so we found this really amazing transient pod of orca whales, and we got to watch them. And then as we're heading back into the harbor, we see humpbacks. And so we go to where we see the humpback, and it pops up in front of the boat. So we're waiting. We're all in front of the boat looking for it to come again. And then, poof, right next to the boat, scared us all. We screamed, and a whale popped right to the left of us. And so we turn, and we're looking at this whale, and then over on the other side of the boat, poop, another scares us, another blowhole. We all scream. We're like, ah. And the guy says, it's like playing whack-a-mole with whales. We've never had this before. And I'm like...
And the whale is saying, you ask, you got yourself in the receiving mode, and now you're freaking out? We clearly heard the vibration of you. You summoned us. We all showed up. We're doing exactly what you asked for. Are you not ready for what you asked for? Are you not ready for what you asked for? Or are you feeling contrast in what you asked for?
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
Really good. Really good. Contrast is always a good thing, yes? You like being deliberate creators? You like knowing that it's all about attraction? Like tuning your attractor?